create the 10-inch finished Shimmer quilt block, you'll be using the stitch and flip method. Start by selecting 4 fabrics and cut the patches following the instructions. Starting with the blue stripe and magenta stripe fabrics, mark a diagonal sewing line on the wrong side of the squares. If you're working with directional prints, you may need to mark strategically. Align the stitch and flip squares on the purple rectangles. When you sew the unit, avoid starting on the corner. If you start on the long side of the rectangle, it's less likely to snarl. It also helps if you can butt the fabric right against the needle. If your machine has a needle down setting where the foot lifts slightly, like the Creative Icon 2, make sure you use it. Sew along the line, chain piecing the units. Trim the excess. Press to set the stitch, flip the corner, and press again. Pair the units as shown and sew them together with a 1/4-inch seam. A stiletto can help. Consistently press the unit to one side. Create 4 of these units. Next, you'll be creating 3-color flying geese units with a magenta stripe rectangle, a pink square, and a purple square. Mark a diagonal sewing line on the wrong side of the squares. Align the pink square on the rectangle, and starting along the long side of the rectangle, sew along the marked line. Trim the excess. Press to set the stitch, flip the corner, and press again. Once the pink corner is stitched and flipped, align the purple square on the rectangle, making sure the diagonal sewing line overlaps the pink fabric slightly. Starting on the long side of the rectangle, sew along the marked line. Trim away the excess. Press to set the stitch, flip the corner, and press again. Make 4 of these 3-color flying geese units. Lay out all of the units. Join the units into rows by stitching a 1/4-inch seam. You can use a stiletto to ensure the seams don't flip. Chain piecing can help keep you organized. Press the top row, first setting the seam. Then press the seams toward the side units. Press the middle row, first setting the seam. Press those seams toward the center unit. Now press the bottom row, first setting the seam. Press seams toward the side units. To join the rows, first pin the top and middle row. Sew these rows together with a 1/4-inch seam allowance, removing pins as you go and using a stiletto as needed. Now pin the bottom row to the center row. Sew the rows with a 1/4-inch seam allowance, removing pins as you go and using a stiletto as needed. Press the seams to set, then press the seams away from the center row to complete the block.